position is of tree. That in agroforestry, any agroforestry systems, that is a major part, major component. The tree is major component in any agroforestry system. So tree is playing a dominating role in agroforestry systems. So we have to know about management systems of tree. So it is very important, and it plays a significant role in agroforestry system, the tree crop. So first, moving to introduction, this is the micro content of these chapters. The 8.1, management of trees in agriculture. Agriculture tree को management कसरी गर्ने ecosystem भन्ने छ. Second, 8.2, agricultural and silvicultural management in relation to crops. So coming to the first introduction slide. Agroforestry. As you know, the agroforestry, the growing of tree or shrub in association with the crops, pasture and livestock. This is the fundamental truth of agroforestry, and as it integrate in definition part, and has been invariably identified as ideal, ecological, and economically suitable native systems. There are the two main objectives of agroforestry systems. First is ecological benefit. Second is economical benefit. So any agroforestry systems, there are two major objectives. One is ecological benefit. Second is economical benefit. So an agroforestry systems, it provides us one part ecological benefit, ecological component, and next is economical component, economical benefit. So which aims to increase the total production per unit area. The ultimate goal is to increase the total production per unit area, the productivity, and while maintaining or enhancing the soil fertility. Soil maintaining soil fertility लाई हामीले त्यहाँको proper particular system लाई particular place को soil fertility लाई हामीले कायम राख्दै त्यहाँको उर्वरा शक्तिलाई कायम राख्दै त्यहाँको उत्पादनलाई हामी बढाउँदै खास गरेर एउटा आर्थिक लाभ हुने हेतुले र अर्को पर्यावरणीय लाभ हुने हेतुले जो एग्रोफरेस्ट्रीमा हाम्रो तीनटा कम्पोनेन्ट, एउटा ट्री, अर्को क्रप्स, एग्रिकल्चर क्रप, अर्को लाइभस्टक लाई हामीले इन्टिग्रेट गर्छौँ भने that is an agroforestry. Particularly, it is concerning about the definition and what about the agroforestry. So second, these systems with multiple facets of management. The degree of management there is a degree of management and ranges of management. In world agriculture is commonly known as agroforestry, which strongly strives on the three important component: tree, crop, animals. I have said in earlier paragraphs. So tree, crop, and animals. The three component. Basic component of agroforestry, this basic component of agroforestry and their compatible interaction make them sustainable. Without positive interaction among these three components, there will not be the positive result, and on the basis of the social as well as economic criteria. Among the three components, tree and crop arrangement is an integrated and complex phenomenon. And because interaction between these two components provides positive as well as negative effect on system productivity. The system को जो उत्पादकत्व हो, तो पद्धति को उत्पादकत्वमा कहिलेकाहीँ नेगेटिभ कहिलेकाहीँ पोजिटिभ इफेक्ट पनि पर्छ. तर if there is a positive and there will be an increase in the total yield, total production. If there is a negative effect exists, and there will be there will be a negative effect. It will be produced. Productivity of agriculture curves in agroforestry prominently the dependent on the manipulation of this interaction through the various tree management practices. यो इन्ट्रेक्सनलाई हामीले म्यानिपुलेट गर्ने हो, त्यसलाई पोजिटिभ डिरेक्सनमा, पोजिटिभ रिजल्टमा कसरी ढाल्ने, हाउ टु ड्राइभ दिस interaction in positive way, in positive directions. So this is the very crucial event, crucial approach in the agroforestry system. In present era sales and patient explosion, attention needs to be focused on agroforestry treatment for increasing our distance activity. हामी अहिलेको वर्तमान परिस्थितिमा जुन क्लाइमेट चेन्जको परिस्थितिमा वातावरणीय छ, पपुलेसन इन्क्लुजन एक्सक्लुजन पपुलेसन इन्क्रिमेन्ट भइरहेको छ, यो परिस्थितिमा हामीले रोबोट म्यानेज गर्नु जरुरी छ, त्यसमा अलिकति कर्सर राख्नु जरुरी देखिन्छ. There is a finite amount of light, water, nutrient in any given area, and it is places an absolute limit on how much crop yield, timber, or other wood product can be produced in a given time. Then it can be applied to fine-tune the interaction between trees and crops. That is asset management. Of almost Nepalese with this को रुख यदि overground भयो भने damaged or will be attacked by insect pest and moisture हैन बढी हुन्छ, त्यो हुनाले त्यो सेडिङ माथि सेड प्रोवाइडेड टियर है हामीले प्रोपर म्यानेज गर्नु, प्रुनिङ पोलार्डिङ मार्फत सेड म्यानेजमेन्ट गर्नु जरुरी हुन्छ. एन्ड सम ट्रीज क्यान बी कट एन्ड अलाउड टु रिस्प्राउट. सो इन दिस केस हामीले केही ट्रीहरूलाई हामीले काट्नु पर्ने हुन्छ, त्यसलाई हामीले थिनिङ भनेर भनेको छौँ, तर केही ट्रीहरूलाई रिस्प्राउट हुन्छ, द अलाउड टु रिस्प्राउट हामीले कपिसिङ गरेर भन्छौँ, त्यो कपिस भएर आउँछ. In agroforestry systems, mismanagement of shade, water, nutrient is the prominent reason of lower productivity. Agroforestry system ma हामीले this is the very micromanagement, सूक्ष्म व्यवस्थापन भनेर भन्छौँ agroforestry system ma. This is the very micromanagement in agroforestry systems, and mismanagement, if there is a mismanagement of shade in component of shade factors, water factors, and nutrient factors, त्यो भयो भने के हुन्छ, त्यहाँ there will be a load in productivity. Load productivity मा load हुन जान्छ. So this is a general tree crop interactions. Tree र crop बीचको, tree crop means tree and agriculture crop interaction, जो सानो क्रपहरूको interaction मा खास गरी tree crop interaction are key consideration when designing and agroforestry systems and layout for planting. And basic principle include to increase the overall value of the systems. खास गरेर एउटा basic principle के हो भने increase the overall value of the systems. एउटा overall यसको value, that means it might be a ecological value, it might be a economical value, it might be a social value, so many values. But there is a mainly two value. We are concerning the agroforestry system concerning in two value. That means one is ecological value and next is economical value. And the principle is body focus मा गर्छ भने ecological value र economical value मा बढी फोकस गर्छ. Maximize the complementarity. So complementarity छ, बीचमा दुईटा तीनटा को component को बीचमा interaction there will be a exist, there will be a persist, and the interaction will be a positive. And our expectation in the agroforestry system is the positive interaction will be enhanced. So there will be a positive interaction. So expectation is set as a positive, and so the practice will be a will be enhanced, will be as a positive interaction in ecological benefit and economical benefit perspectives. The decrease or eliminate competition. Next principle is decrease or eliminate competition. Competition त्यो प्रतिस्पर्धा, त्यो तीनटा कम्पोनेन्टको बीचमा, दुईटा कम्पोनेन्टको बीचमा प्रतिस्पर्धा हो. त्यो प्रतिस्पर्धालाई पनि के हुन्छ, त्यसलाई कम प्रतिस्पर्धा गराएर न्युट्रिएन्ट, वाटर र त्यसपछि सनलाइट, यसको तीनटा चिजहरू फ्याक्टरहरूमा प्रतिस्पर्धा हुने गर्छ बेसिकली. एन्ड त्यो प्रतिस्पर्धामा त्यो कम्पोनेन्टको कम होस्, त्यो प्रतिस्पर्धा, the decrease in eliminate or elimination of the competition among the component and will be focused and minimize crop displacement. To crop को displacement छ त्यहाँ प्रतिस्थापन गर्नुपर्ने छ, त्यसलाई हामीले मिनिमाइज गर्छौँ. त्यो क्रप डिप रुटेड क्रप छ भने डिप रुटेड क्रप रहिरहोस्, अनि अर्को क्रपहरू आउँदाखेरि केही टेक्स टाइम टु स्ट्याब्लिस हैन, स्टेबिलिटी गर्नको लागि, त्यहाँ स्ट्याब्लिस गर्नको लागि, त्यो क्रपहरू स्ट्रङ हुनको लागि केही समय टेक्स, लङ्गर टाइम. दो द अप्रोप्रिएट ट्री म्यानेजमेन्टले त्यो भइरहेको एक्जिस्टिङ क्रपलाई, एक्जिस्टिङ रुखलाई, त्यहाँ ट्रीलाई हामीले प्रोपर म्यानेजमेन्ट गर्नु जरुरी हुन्छ. दिस इज द जनरल ट्री क्रप इन्ट्रेक्सन प्रिन्सिपल. So first, we move into the first management of tree in agroforestry. This is I have told about the background of the why move into the management of tree in agroforestry, and what is the causes and what is the principle of management of tree in the agroforestry, agriculture or agroforestry systems. So first, what is the management? This is the introduction of management system, management of tree in agriculture or agroforestry. The management of tree in agroforestry system include the various practices that are required to gain the desired product from the per unit of land, unit area, unit particular area. But the desired product, agroforestry product, that means desired product means agroforestry product we achieve. We achieve from the particular agroforestry production area, and we expect, our expectation is desired product to will be produced from the particular agroforestry area. The tree management practices should be carried out by farmers to get the desirable product, properly manage the tree canopy and roots in order to facilitate the maximum resource utilization, management of organic residues for nutrient cycle, proper methods of harvesting tree, as well as non-timber tree product, protection from biotic or biotic stasis. So meaning that farmers like एकदम desirable product प्राप्त गर्नको लागि management practices, there will be several management practices and farmers have to follow the different management practices. The maximum benefit, optimum benefit, and in a sustainable basis, and their utilization and in organic residue recycling proper. It means that there are the several management practices and farmers have to follow. And the main objective of tree management is tree management को मुख्य objective. What is the main objective of tree management? That's the question. And what is the answer is to minimize the negative tree crop interaction and maximize the positive interaction. This is the reason, this is the objective of tree management. So this is the question, why tree management is essential? What is the reason? What is the basic objectives? What is the cause of the tree management? The to answer is to minimize the negative tree crop interaction and to maximize the positive interaction. Tree management को positive interaction लाई हामीले maximize गर्ने र negative tree crop interaction छ त्यसलाई negative त्यसलाई रिड्युस गर्ने होइन गर्ने हो म्याक्सिमाइजेसन गर्ने हो यसको मुख्य उद्देश्य भनेको tree management. The types of tree management practices depend mainly on the characteristics of the species and the purpose for which it is grown. Broadly, these management practices can be categorized in two categories, in two groups. One is above ground and next is below ground management. So on the basis of the, there are the mainly in tree case, there is a mainly two side of management. One is, upper side and next is lower side. Means the below the ground and above the ground. Above the ground is, the canopy and the very shoot portion, and below the ground the root portion. So if root portion is there and root management practices are followed, and if the shoot management, if a shoot is very overgrown, if a very branchy and very strawberry are seen, then the shoot management are practiced. So move into the above the ground management. Above ground management, first under this above ground management, pruning, the main practice is under the management, tree management systems. The pruning, first of all, the pruning, we are going to discuss on the pruning. What is pruning? It's very simple. You have learned in first semester to third semester in the various classes. And pruning is we know pruning is the practice of managing perennial tree species by cutting away dead or overgrown branches as per the requirement of crop and tree growth. Basically, it depends on the nature of the growth. Growth कस्तो खालको रुखहरू छ, while we are selecting the tree crop, and if branchy of it's very branchy छ अथवा shrubby छ अथवा overcrowded छ, कस्तो खालको tree छ, it depends on the pruning practices. Pruning is synonymously used and reported as planting. And planting को रूपमा पनि हामी हेर्छौं. Copicing ko barema pani the same as a हेर्छौं. Sometimes we can do the copicing and the same. It's synonymously pruning. It's one kind of pruning. Planting was one kind of pruning, and the loping and the loping गर्ने पनि गर्छौं, the copicing or loping पनि गर्छौं. And on pruning intensely and the place of the pruning and the copicing is the most extreme of the tree cutting practices, usually involving cutting to a height of 10 to 30 centimeters above the ground. Ground को पार्टबाट हामीले करिब 1 फिट माथिको हामीले कटिङहरु सुरु गर्छौं. Loping, cutting of the branches, commonly leaves shrubs of about 30 to 100 centimeters लाई हामी loping माथिबाट हाँगाहरु झार्ने गरिन्छ र 130 to 200 centimeter many stems हामी कटिङ गर्छौं, त्यसलाई loping भनेर भन्छौं. The pruning practices here look at the picture. Look at the picture. The pruning practices reduce the shade by removing lower branches at marked places. हैन, हामीले माथिको आगाहरु हामीले तल झारेको छौं, जसलाई हामीले pruning को किसिमको pruning हो. तर यसलाई pruning कहिलेकाहीँ copicing copicing भन्दाखेरि planting loping भनेर पनि भनिन्छ कहिलेकाहीँ, हैन, त्यो synonymously use गरेको पाइन्छ. Pruning continue. The pruning, the purpose. What is the purpose of pruning? What is the objective of pruning? To restore the functional branches between the above and below ground plant organs by reducing the root respiration, the slowing or the ceasing the root growth, or allocating the carbon from the storage organ in the roots and stems to shoot meristem to support the tree growth. This is the main objective, but there are several objectives to reduce the competition between the tree and crops. the next step to reduce the competition between the root and crops, tree and crops को बीचमा competition कम होस् भन्ने हेतुले पनि के भन्छ pruning गरिन्छ. And next भनेको to train the tree to a single stance. हामीले single state मा हामीले लैजानको लागि पनि pruning गर्नुपर्ने जरुरी हुन्छ. It's more valuable and not free trunks. हामीले गाँठागुठीहरू बीचमा हुँदैन. To increase the growth rate of the branches को growth rate बढाउनको लागि हैन, left of the pruning, and to increase the healthy structurally the sound treeहरू राम्रो treeहरू बनाउनको लागि maintain a strong leader. बीचको leader हो, त्यो बीचको जो मेन हाँगा हो त्यो हाँगालाई स्ट्रङ बनाउनको लागि. एन्ड अर्को अब्जेक्टिभ भनेको suppression or removal of the lower limbs or vigorous branches that are growing upward into the canopy. No more than 25 to 30% of the foliage should be removed in any year, especially if a tree is mature. हामीले 3 भागको 1 भाग भन्दा बढी काट्नु पनि हुँदैन यदि pruning. This is the very note that it is a removable matter. In case of the pruning, and we will have not remove the 30%, not more than 30%. 30% भन्दा बढी राख्नु, 1/3 भन्दा बढी हामीले काट्नु पनि हुँदैन. You look at the picture. This is the बीचको ब्रान्च हामीले छेउछेउमा हामीले काट्ने, कसरी काट्ने भनेर यहाँ देखाएको छ. बीचमा सिधा काट्ने, धेरै काँठाकुटीहरू बीचमा माथिको आधा काटेर छोड्ने होइन. एकदम बीचमा सानो बीचको मेन उसमा के अरे काण्डमा रहेर बीचको मेन हाँगामा रहेर हामीले दायाँ बायाँका हाँगालाई हामीले काट्नुपर्छ. गुड प्रुनिङ. यहाँ ब्याड प्रुनिङ छ, लेफ्ट साइडमा हामी ब्याड प्रुनिङ छ, बीचमा काट्यो भने. तर गुड प्रुनिङमा हामीले बीचमा काट्नुपर्छ. के अरे एकदम स्लुत टाँसिएर काट्नु राम्रो हुन्छ. Thinning. Next is thinning. As the plantation mature, tree becomes crowded and competition among the tree causes the growth rates to decline. Tree को growth बढ्दै सँगै हामीले treeहरू के हुन्छ crowded हुन्छ and overcrowded हुन्छ अनि त्यसलाई thinning गर्नु पर्यो. A dense stand initially promotes the straight growth and small branches. But later the tree must be removed, otherwise they will grow to slender and eventually not much reach the desired size. पछाडी गएर धेरै बाक्लो हुने र desired size मा नहुने हुन्छ. त्यो हुनाले हामीले सानो सानो स्लुत्त परेको जान्छ र this selective process of removing or killing some tree to allow the remaining tree to maintain a steady growth rate, it is called thinning. भनेर भनिन्छ. This purpose of thinning is agroforestry systems are what is the purpose? What is the objective of thinning? To obtain the firewood and wood for construction. एउटा थिनिङको पर्पज मुख्य उद्देश्य भनेको हामीले एउटा वुड काठलाई टिम्बरलाई प्रोडक्सन गर्ने हेतुले मुख्य गरिन्छ भने अर्को दाउराको लागि हामीले फ्युलवुडको लागि फायरवुडको लागि हामीले जो पर्पज राखिन्छ त्यसको लागि यो गरिन्छ. To selective remove wholly palm tree and species of lower value, to provide suitable light condition to the crop and to eliminate the excess root competition between the trees and crops. To get early returns by selling small poles and fuel. Thinning can be accomplished by any time of year. Of thinning kaile गर्ने भन्दाखेरि any time of year. However, thinning during the dormant season offer many advantages. हामीले cutting, thinning, pruning यो practiceहरू भनेको खास गरेर basically massively done in dormant season, where inactive seasons, the inactive position is exhibited by tree, and so these practices thinning is also practiced in dormant season. It's mostly done, but can be done in every year, every time. And X is polarity. What is polarity? To define the polarity. The polarity is a process in which polarity is a process, is a technique, is a practice in which tree management practice in which crown of the trees are cut at least 2 meter above the ground level. ग्राउन्ड लेभलको कम्तीमा पनि 2 मिटर माथि हामीले काटेर हाँगाहरू ग्राउन्डहरूको ट्रीको विभिन्न हाँगाहरू काटिन्छ भने त्यसलाई पोलार्डिङ भन्छ। बियोन्ड द रिच अफ द क्याटल इन अर्डर टु गेट द फ्लस अफ न्यू सोर्स। हामीले नयाँ लुक एट द पिक्चर, हामीले माथिको सबै हाँगा काट्यौँ भने यसलाई पनि हामीले पोलार्डिङ गर्ने, नयाँ नयाँ कपिसिङ सुरु हुन्छ होइन, त्यो पनि एक किसिमको पोलार्डिङ। जस्तै look at the picture, tree before the pollarding and tree after the pollarding re-sprouting भएर जान्छ। त्यसरी फेरि pollarding पनि गरिन्छ। Pollarding is the repeated pruning of branches at any near the same point, which result in distinct thin bushy appearance of the tree. Typically, depending on the pruning height and the needs of associated cross, pollarding allows a time window of 3 to 4 months where there is a negligible competition for light between the crops and trees. However, fine roots and nodules start to regrow after 2-3 months after pruning, and competition for nutrients may occur. What are the objectives of pollarding? There are the many objectives it follows, it has, and the first objective is only harvest of wood, fodder, or other biomass. The main objective of pollarding is to produce the wood, only harvest of wood, reduce the wood and fodder and other biomass. And next objective is the production of the wood or fodder at heights that is out of the reach of livestock, as there is no need to put protection from the browse. Third objective is reduction of the shading of nearby crops. And fourth objective is regeneration of the tree crown to promote growth of the trunk or timber or small woods. Within for construction and weaker handicrafts. With these for construction and handicrafts, weaker art, we say. So fourth practice is loping. Loping is next practices for above ground tree. Loping is the cutting of tree branches. So tree branches overcrowded, tree branches are cutting to cutting mainly for leafy branches or twigs from a tree. Tree ko jo haga huncha, तर haga mainly leaf in your life झार्दिनु. The time window for the renewal of interspecific competition for light is similar to tree managed by pollarding, but maybe less depending on the branch taxonomy for carbon updates. The objective of loping, what are the objectives of loping? Loping, there are the several objectives of loping. Mainly, there are the three. The first objective is to meet the seasonal needs for food, fodder, fuel, and other substances requirement. हामीले फुडहरू आदि दाउरा आदि चाहियो भने त्यो सब्सटेन्सेस एउटा आवश्यकको लागि हामीले माथिबाट काट्ने हो हैन, लोपिङ गर्ने हो। एन्ड अर्को भनेको टु इन्करेज द न्यू फ्लसेज अफ ग्रोथको न्यू प्लेसेस छ भने ओल्ड हाँगाहरूलाई हामीले काट्ने, डेड डाई डिकेहरूलाई पनि त्यहाँ हाँगाहरू छ भने त्यसलाई पनि चाहदिने, त्यो नयाँ पलाउँछ। To maintain the hygiene of the tree, ट्रीको हामीले सुन्दरता, ट्रीको सुस्थतालाई हामीले ध्यान दिएर बढाउँ। Loping, here is a picture, and look at the picture, and a man is cutting the branches. That it means loping of the branches for cattle feeding. हामीले माथिबाट घाँ काटेर जो घाँसहरूको हाँगा सहितको घाँस छ, त्यो घाँसमा हामीले त्यहाँको जनावरहरूले घरपालुवा जनावरहरूले खाने गर्छ। The loping. This table of loping कहिले गर्ने जस्तै आकाशिया निरोटिका, आकाशिया सिवा, द सिमल हैन, र त्यसको विभिन्न खालको स्पिसिस छ, कहिले गर्ने भन्ने एउटा तालिका हो। यो खास लोपिङ पिरियड युटिलाइजेसन एउटा एक्जाम्पल हो। नेक्स्ट इज कपिसिङ। कपिसिङ So to produce the copies. Next practices above the ground is copying. The many species of the tree and shrubs had the ability to resprout after the whole tree has been cut. यदि पुरै रुखहरू हामीले काटिन्छ भने त्यसमा पालुवाहरू पलाउँछ रिस्प्राउटिङ हुन्छ and that is one of the causes of the copying. And if this ability is utilized for regeneration of the tree, and this practice is known as copying. यदि हामीले पुरै हाँगाहरू पुरै के अरे रुख काटेर सानो रुखहरू छ अथवा कस्तो छ मजबुला खालको अथवा ठिकै टाइपको रुखहरू काटेको छ भने त्यसलाई रुख काटेर फेरि पलाउँछ भने त्यसलाई के भन्छ पालुवा रिजेनेरेट हुन्छ रिस्प्राउटिङ हुन्छ भने that practice is called the copying. Copying can almost be regarded as a methods of tree propagations. हामीले ट्रीलाई rejuvenate गर्नु पर्यो भने जस्तै असारमा हामीले गर्छौँ we can do in Assad to rejuvenate the old Assad, old tree, old producing the fruit producing treeहरूलाई हामीले rejuvenate गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ हैन त्यसलाई जवानी दिनुपर्ने हुन्छ त्यो हुनाले it's a methods of one kinds of propagation. Since it can be substitute for the task of planting in a new tree after matured one is felled. This practice involves cutting the tree down to the stems and allowing it to regrow to maximize the biomass production. हामीले स्टममा काट्ने जहाँ हामीले ट्याक्कै काण्डमा काट्ने स्टममा काट्ने र त्यसलाई रिग्रो हुन दिने allowing to regrow and to maximize the biomass production. The maximum optimum cutting height for most of the copying tree should be kept in between the 30 to 50 centimeter above the ground level. हामीले ग्राउन्डको लेभलबाट 1 फिटदेखि 2 फिट अथवा 1.5 फिटको हाराहारीमा हामीले रुख काट्नुपर्छ. यसरी ठ्याक्कै रुख काट्यो भने त्यसलाई त्यो ट्रीलाई काट्यो भने त्यसमा काट्न पनि सजिलो हुन्छ रिजेनेरेट हुने कि स्प्राउटिङ गर्ने पनि चान्सेस धेरै राम्रो हुन्छ. The copies should be carried out while tree are dormant. हामीले dormant inactive stage मा treeलाई हामीले काट्नु जरुरी छ. The copying provides the longer time windows 4 to 6 months depending on the species in which tree is negligible competition for light between the coppice tree and crops. The negligible यिनीहरुको कम्पिटिसन हुन्छ र त्यो टाइममा हामीले काट्नु जरुरी हुन्छ. What are the objectives of the copying? What are the purposes of the copying? What are the objectives of copying? What are the reason of copying? There are the mainly 4 objectives of copying. First, to create a multi-stem stalk. एउटा स्टेम सिंगल स्टेम छ भने त्यबाट एउटा मात्र ब्रान्च भइरहेछ सिंगल स्टेम छ भने 2-3 वटा हाँगा हामीले साइड हाँगाहरू पनि ल्याउनको लागि त्यो काट्न जरुरी हुन्छ. create a multi stem shrub rather than a single stem trunk tree. एउटा मात्र ट्रङ्क छ भने मल्टी ट्रङ्क बनाउनको लागि एउटा मात्र स्टेम छ भने मल्टी स्टेम बनाउनको लागि हामीले कपिस गर्नुपर्ने जरुरी छ. Second, to rejuvenate old tree. हामीले पहिलाका पुराना रुखहरू छ जो फल्दै नफलेको छ जसले प्रोडक्सन कम्ती आछ त्यो ब्रान्चिङ छैन भने त्यस्तो खालको ट्रीहरू छ भने रोकिराहरू लागिरहेछ भने त्योलाई त्यस्तो रुखहरूलाई हामीले रिजुभेट गर्ने नयाँ जवानी दिने हिसाबले अनि रिजेनेरेट गर्ने हिसाबले त्यो भिगरस बनाउनको लागि त्यस्तो प्र्याक्टिस गरिन्छ. थर्ड, to increase larger leaves one tree. leaves को size पनि वृद्धि गर्नको लागि कपिसिङ गर्न जरुरी छ. Fourth, to regenerate woody stems for firewood and charcoal making. र त्यो ओल्ड के वुडी स्टेमहरु छ भने त्यसलाई फायरवुडमा चारकोल मेकिङमा हैन त्यसलाई लगाउनको लागि पनि हामीले त्यस्तो ट्रीहरुलाई हामीले कट गरिन्छ कपिसिङ गरिन्छ. Purpose को लागि गरिन्छ. These are the some practices above the ground of tree. Now we are going to discuss the below levels and below ground management. What are the below ground management? First, the management of the below ground interaction is most important where tree and crops are grown in close proximity and the where soil resources soil resources. That means the water, nutrient are limited, and as in regionally, and dry climates and semi-arid tropics. And a climate is एकदम ड्राई छ, एकदम सुखा छ, मौसम सुखा छ, फ्याक्टरहरू एकदम जस्तै वाटर न्युट्रिएन्टको पनि कम्पिटिसन भइरहेछ भने यो म्यानेजमेन्ट प्र्याक्टिसेसमा हामी त्यस्तो प्र्याक्टिसमा बिलो ग्राउन्ड लेभलको प्र्याक्टिसहरू इन्ट्रेक्सन बढी नेगेटिभ इन्ट्रेक्सन भइदिन्छ। त्यो नेगेटिभ इन्ट्रेक्सनलाई पोजिटिभ इन्ट्रेक्सनमा डाल्नको लागि हामीले बिलो ग्राउन्ड लेभलको इन्ट्रेक्सनलाई पोजिटिभ डाल्नको लागि के गर्छौँ, हामीले केही म्यानेजमेन्ट प्र्याक्टिसेस गर्छौँ। Below ground competition is minimized by selecting tree of less competitive root characteristics, root architecture, or deep root systems. Deep root system अथवा root characteristics like less competitive root, less architecture भएका less root को root coverage भएका रूटलाई हामीले छान्छौँ र deep root systemहरूलाई पनि हामी छान्छौँ र त्यसलाई मिनिमाइज गर्छौँ, त्यो कम्पिटिसनलाई पोजिटिभ इन्ट्रेक्सनलाई बढाउँछौँ। ट्री म्यानेजमेन्ट rather than species selection. Specific selection गर्नुभन्दा पनि एउटा ट्री म्यानेजमेन्ट जरुरी छ इन एट्र्याक्टिभ अप्रोच बिकज इट अलाउ द फार्मर्स टु ग्रो द ट्री स्पेसिस, हैन? त्यो उनीहरूले स्पेसिस सिलेक्सन गर्नुपर्ने एउटा ठाउँमा छँदैछ। इट्स इज वान काइन्ड अफ द क्राइटेरिया हाउ टु म्यानेज द ट्री, हाउ टु म्यानेज द एग्रोफरेस्ट्री सिस्टम, त्यो छँदैछ। तापनि त्योभन्दा पनि महत्त्वपूर्ण अझ मोर देन इट and the attractive tree management is especially essential and very crucial, and because it allows the farmers to grow the tree and properly they want, rather than those with particular root architecture at the below the ground levels, and its practices that is the root pruning, the root pruning. So the most dominant practices and one of the most the inevitable practices, important practices is root pruning under the ground, below the ground of tree. Root pruning is a potential tool for managing the below ground competition when tree and crops are grown together in agroforestry systems. The tree roots are managed by trench and artificial root barriers. Artificial root barriers लाई प्रयोग गरेर अथवा हामीले ट्रेन्च खनेर पनि लुक एट द पिक्चर, तपाईको दुईटाको यता एग्रिकल्चर क्रप छ, उता ट्री क्रप छ, बीचमा जो ट्रेन्च खनिएको छ त्यो ट्रेन्च, हैन? यु आर सेइङ द ट्रेन्च, द ट्रेन्चले के गर्छ भने त्यसलाई रुट पुर्निङलाई सहयोग गर्छ। Root pruning usually by way of trenching, एउटा ट्रेन्चिङको एउटा किसिमको ट्रेन्चिङ जस्तै हो, has been used as a mean to separate root systems of trees and crops, thereby reducing the below ground competition significantly. हामीले तलको जमिनको तल रुखको तलको तहलाई हामीले त्यो कम्पिटिसनलाई, नेगेटिभ कम्पिटिसनलाई पोजिटिभ गर्नको लागि हामीले ट्रेन्च गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ ताकि रुटहरू के हुन्छ, रिजेनरेट हुन्छ, राम्रो एक्सपोज हुन्छ। ड्रब्याक अफ दिस सिस्टम इज इन्क्रिज इन रुट डेन्सिटी एन्ड रुट डेन्सिटीलाई कहिलेकाहीँ बढाइदिन्छ एन्ड रुट मास नियर द रुट एरिया द व्हिच कजेस द सोइल मोइस्चर स्ट्रेस। कहिलेकाहीँ प्रुनिङ गरेका ठाउँहरूमा सोइल मास, रुट मासलाई बढाउँछ र यो ड्रब्याक हो। देयरफोर द पिरियोडिक रुट प्रुनिङ इज सुटेबल एन्ड मिनिमाइज मोइस्चर डिप्लिसन प्रब्लम, अनि बट इट इज लेबर इन्टेन्सिभ। यो भनेको एउटा लेबर इन्टेन्सिभ फाइदा छ। र रुट प्रुनिङ अनदर क्विक मेथड इज ट्र्याक्टर डाउन डिस्प्लोइङ। एउटा अर्को मेथड भनेको एउटा जो डिस्प्लोइङ छ, डिस्प्लोइङहरुकोमा योले छिटो हुन्छ। डिस्प्लोइङ to a depth of 6 to 90 centimeter in between the tree lines helps to cut down the root and minimize the root growth, but it is a less labor intensive. यो अलिकति कम खर्चिलो छ, कम हामीले कामदारहरू लगाउनु पर्ने छ। करिब 2 फिटदेखि 3 फिटको गहिरो हुने डिस्प्लोले पनि गर्न सकिन्छ। रुटको बीचमा जो क्रप र ट्री क्रपको बीचमा हामीले टेन्च बनाउनु, यो करिब 3 फिट जतिको ट्रेन बनाउने। ट्री growing in cropland can have their shallow roots cut 0.3 to 0.6 meter from the trunk when there is in a height of 2 to 3 meters. 2-3 मिटर हाइट भएको छ भने बिरुवाहरू छ भने करिब करिब 1 फिटदेखि 2 फिटको हामीले ट्रेन्चहरू खन्न सकिन्छ. The roots are best managed by digging the relatively deep trench, 0.6 meters, along the edges of the root locks. That is settling. And obvious disadvantage of the techniques of root management is that your system को के फाइदा के हो भने they require a lot of work and labor is यो trench खन्ने कामहरू. अब what are the purposes? What are the advantages of root pruning? The root pruning helps to promote the fruit growth in several ways. हामीले माथिको root pruning गर्दाखेरि fruitको size बढ्ने देखिन्छ. This action assists to create a better rooting systems. Rooting system rootमा राम्रो प्रसारण हुने, राम्रो extension हुने, rootहरू राम्रोसँग जाने, root सिधा हुने ले देखाउँछ. That will supply the necessary ingredient to the plant. Nutrient ingredientहरू छ, nutrient supply राम्रोसँग हुन्छ. Root pruning अर्को limits the root that allow this upwardly and wrapping around the treeसँग राम्रो बेरिएका छन्, राम्रोसँग मिसम्याचिङ भइरहेछ भनेपछि त्यस्तो खालको ट्रीहरूलाई पनि के अरे रुटहरूलाई पनि सिधा बनाइदिन्छ, राम्रोसँग राम्रो पोजिसनमा राख्छ अनि प्रिभेन्ट ट्रान्सपोर्ट अफ द भाइटल न्युट्रिएन्ट, एउटा भाइटल न्युट्रिएन्टहरूको ट्रान्सपोर्टलाई पनि त्यसले प्रिभेन्ट गर्छ. To limit the rate of the shoot growth, and shoot growth हरूलाई पनि हामीले यदि हाई डेन्सिटी प्लान्टिङ गर्ने हो भने जो shoot growthहरू छ, shoot growthहरूलाई पनि के भने जो फास्ट ग्रोइङहरू छ, फास्ट ग्रोइङहरूलाई पनि त्यसलाई अलिकति ठिक मात्रामा हामीले आफ्नो डिजायरेबल हाइटहरू मेन्टेन गर्नुको लागि पनि यो विधि अपनाइन्छ. Agricultural statement 2, agricultural and silvicultural management in relation to crop. Next subtopics is agricultural and silvicultural management in relation to the crops. हामीले क्रप्सहरुको बारेमा in crop and tree crop management मा agricultural and silvicultural management practiceहरु पनि जरुरी छ. The agricultural management is highly varied due to the changing nature of the system. It is divided into the following stages on the basis of the tree growth and management. First, pre-planting phase, the establishment phase, and silvicultural management phase, maturing phase, harvesting phase. Your management we have to do, follow the practices of crops. So these are some agricultural and silvicultural management. First, pre-planting phase. In this phase, the site is prepared and fertility of the site is increased by growing 1 or 2 agricultural crops. Before planting trees, an emphasis on nitrogen fixing trees will improve the more soil structure and fertility. So, when pre-planting phase, we have to follow the what are the tree species are essential. So we have to know the tree species, a beneficial effect of tree species, positive effect of the interaction of the tree species, matching species. So many factors they have, and we have to know these factors and crop species belonging agroforestry tree species, and so this is the very crucial stage. And nitrogen, basically nitrogen fixing trees, are selected to control the erosion and to improve the soil structure, soil fertility. Basically nitrogen fixation crop or pre-planting phase. Second is establishment phase. The establishment, the young trees are carefully tended, and tree also carefully tended until they are large. Key management silage crop are more suitable. Silage the crop more suitable to grow in between the crops of the tree. Mulching practice we have to follow. And third is cropping between the young trees. Young tree young tree crop agriculture crop can be grown in the trees without introducing अथवा reducing the excessive competitions हामीले कम्पिटिसनलाई कम गर्नको लागि एग्रिकल्चर र ट्री क्रपको बीचमा हामीले त्यो म्याचिङ क्रपहरू लाउने encourage early tree growth between the tree zone areas. For example, large cardamom under the Uttiste, almost Nepalensis, माथि shade providing हुन्छ भने तल large cardamom अलैँची लगाउने गरिन्छ. दिस म्यानेजमेन्ट र टीको बीचमा अलमोस्ट नेपालसी माथि भयो तर चियाको एलपिजिया लेभल माथि भयो जो के अरे जस्तै अब माथि के अरे 29 को बोटहरू छ भने तल कफीको बोटहरू पनि एउटा नेक्स्ट एक्जाम्पल हुन सक्छ हैन अथवा माथि सिरिजको बोट भयो भने तल चियाको बोटहरू पनि हुन सक्छ चिलाउनेको बोट भयो भने तल चियाको बोट पनि हुन सक्छ. This is the example of look at the picture. This is the example of the some practices, cultural practices, silvicultural, agricultural systems, agriculture tree like कसरी म्यानेज गर्ने बीचमा केही एग्रिकल्चर एग्रोनोमिकल क्रपहरू छ साइडमा केही ट्री पपुलसको ट्री छ बायाँतिर लेफ्ट ह्यान्ड साइड एन्ड राइट ह्यान्ड साइड पपुलस छ बीचमा मेजको केही क्रपहरू छ यसरी पनि हामीले गर्न सकिन्छ भने साइडमा लेफ्ट ह्यान्ड साइड यु क्यान सी दिस द पिक्चर अफ द कार्डमम दिस के अरे लार्ज कार्डमम अलैँची एन्ड अलैँची छ हैन अलैँची छ माथि अब चिलौरी विभिन्न खालको उत्तिसहरू छ अलमोस्ट नेपालेन्सिस एन्ड लेफ्ट ह्यान्ड साइड पनि केही ट्रीहरू छ नेपाली उत्तिसकै छ र तल एउटा के छ कफीको बोटहरू छ जसरी दिस एक्जाम्पल अफ सिल्भी हर्टिकल्चरल अथवा सिल्भी एग्रिकल्चरल सिल्भी एग्रिकल्चर म्यानेजमेन्ट फेज एग्रिकल्चरल म्यानेजमेन्ट फेजमा हामीले खास गरेर ट्री र क्रपको म्यानेजमेन्ट अघि भने अनुसार हामीले यो यसमा धेरै प्र्याक्टिसहरू छ थिनिङ एन्ड प्रुनिङ इन सच ए वे टु मिनिमाइज द इफेक्ट अफ द एग्रिकल्चर प्रोडक्सन लाइट इज द मोस्ट लिमिटिङ फ्याक्टर्स टु इफेक्ट द एग्रो क्रप्स light pruning is desirable than the heavy pruning. Pruning should be done during the winter months to minimize the attack of pathogens. So this is the very crucial phase. Silvicultural management phase. Silvicultural management is very agriculture, and in this under this phase, the thinning and pruning and pollarding and are done. These are the some activities to minimize the damage, to minimize the competition between the crops, between the components, and to maximize the production. And next phase is maturing phase. And different practices are involved between the, beneath the maturing trees, such as the grading, maintenance of the soil, moisture and fertility, and weed control, which improves the aesthetic value of the stem. Aesthetic value, the crop, the aesthetic value, sir. In सौन्दर्य जो एट्र्याक्सन भ्यालु छ सौन्दर्यजनक भ्यालु ब्याच छ त्यो भ्यालुलाई पनि यसले के हुन्छ कम गर्छ त्यो हुनाले यसलाई बढाउने जुन विभिन्न प्र्याक्टिसहरू we have to follow the different practices are involved विभिन्न overneath and underneath गरिन्छ जस्तै grazing, maintenance of soil moisture, fertility, weed control and mulching. These are some practices at the maturing stage. And harvesting phase, the next and the last phase is harvesting phase. In this phase, they involve the harvesting of the tree, where the tree becomes large enough, and it will allow the profitable sales. And this harvesting is harvesting practices we have to follow. The optimum time of harvest, it depends on the stage of harvesting and time of harvesting. And methods are there are the three kinds of practices we have to follow. First is time of harvesting, second is stage of harvesting, third is methods of harvesting. So on three factors, the value of the standing timber and its expected increase in value over time, that are the in harvesting stage. And there are the three factors are involved. One is value of the standing timbers. मुख्य कुरो भ्यालु के हो त्यसको टिम्बरको भ्यालु हो कि हैन फ्युलवुडको भ्यालु हो what are the purpose of the agroforestry system product, and what is the agroforestry product we are going to sell, we are going to produce. That is the main point. So the value of the standing timber is a main factors. And second factor is availability of the suitable market. Where is the market, and where are going to our product. So this is the market availability, market saying. So market opportunity is, if there is a market opportunity, we can sell the product in right time. So this is the availability of the suitable market. And the third factor is owners' interest. What is the interest of owners, the orchard owners, or the agroforestry owners, agroforestry मालिकको उसको तजबिजको कुरा हुन्छ, उसको इन्ट्रेस्ट के हो, मैले एउटा केही प्रोडक्टहरू राइट टाइममा फ्रेस प्रोडक्ट मार्केटमा लाने हो, अथवा हामीले प्रोसेस्ड आइटमहरूमा लाने हो, अथवा स्टोर गरेर अफ सिजनमा मैले सेल गर्ने हो. That is the interest of owners. It depends on the interest of owners. And if the owner's interest is now this is the right time, and I'm going to sell my product in the market freshly. Or nobody we can see he can, or he or she can sell his or market or product in the fresh market in the fresh condition. Fresh condition मा बेच्न सक्छ. If his or interest is to store their product, and he or she want to sell in the off season, and she or he can store their product, his or product, and in his or storeroom, and our very mechanized storeroom, and then in off season, and he or she can sell. This is the owner's interest. When main silvicultural systems, even as systems, just clear cut, patch cut, this is the picture, or even as systems, single tree selection, group selection, sorry, हामीले केही गर्छौँ, जस्तो copies, retention systems, केही क्रपहरूको छ. The types of forest in the picture. This is additional, pictures. So this is the some questions related to this topic.